It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
So far, everything we've covered has been kind of economic stuff that's changed, consumption that's changed. Those were the first two steps. But the third one, and look, this is where I do feel like I'm kind of like the parent or the Debbie Downer in the room, and the fact, because I'm going to tell you a skill set that's actually going to be part of your wealth building journey, which is deferred gratification. When I go and somebody said, what's the one thing you go tell and teach in every high school? It's the value of deferred gratification. And I do feel like a lot of Americans, and it feels really sad to say this when there's all these other things in the macro sense that are squeezing people, but the paying yourself first still needs to be a priority. And that seems so tone deaf in light of all the other squeezes that are going on. But I'm telling you, you have to figure out, and that's why I love that we talked about budgeting. You have to figure out, even in these lean times, how you can get your money working for you. Because yes, the stock market is volatile right now. Yes, prices are going up. But I'm telling you, this is probably creating some of the best investment opportunities in the long term. So I have to be that responsible coach, that responsible guide that tells you, you too can make it. Don't let YOLO be the thing, because that's where there's so many people right now saying, hey, it feels like today. The world's coming to an end, so only enjoy today. Don't worry about tomorrow because nothing is promised to you. I'm telling you, you will live to a ripe old age, and we will make it through this. But you just have to plan accordingly.
I think it's so interesting, Brian. You said the one thing that you teach classes, and I do the same thing, is deferred gratification. It may be the most important thing in the financial world. I'm going to be confessional for a second, right? I'm going to kind of like, we're going to pause. I'm going to talk to you guys about something because I'm worried about this, right? I think for some folks, deferred gratification comes easy. We just naturally get it. I think I was one of those folks. I was raised in an environment of scarcity. So it was really easy for me to think about doing away with a little bit today so that I can possibly have some more tomorrow. I got two little girls, Brian.
Yeah.
And I've done this marshmallow test, right? I've done it with my girls. I have one little girl and she gets it, right? She's a daddy's girl. She's just born that way. Like if I get her a chocolate milk we go out to brunch and I get her a chocolate milk, she's going to savor it. She's going to drink a little bit of it. And she's going to have some left over at the end that she can finish. And it's going to be great, right? I have this other little girl, man.
I know your children, so I know which one is.
As soon as that chocolate
she got
milk,
a funnel out over there?
It does, man. As soon as it hits the table, she just starts slurping. And,
she's so cute, though.
Oh, man. And we did the marshmallow test. She ate it before I could tell her what would happen if she didn't eat it, right? I recognize as a parent, right, if I don't start teaching her about deferred gratification, she's going to have a hard path.
Yeah.
She's going to have a hard time when she gets out there on her own. I'm a firm believer that deferred gratification, even if it's not something that comes natural, even if it's not something you've always been at, it's like any other muscle. It is something that you can work and you can stretch and you can practice and you can get better and better and better at it. But what happens is if you don't use it and you don't practice and you don't stretch it, it's never going to get better and you're not going to have a different outcome if you don't start changing the things you're doing right now. When I hear deferred gratification, that's the thing that immediately comes to my mind. So if maybe you're not trying to figure out how to not let your kids do this, but maybe you're thinking, oh man, I'm 20 years old, I'm 30 years old, maybe I'm 40 years old and I haven't gotten started on this yet. That's okay. Figure out how to start doing it now and you will be amazed at how powerful it can be over the long term.
Well, I always think, let's give people motivation. I like to be a motivator because I want this educational journey we're on to be one of those things where you say, yes, times are tough, but a little can go a sure long way towards my financial success. And we have a great illustration because this is, once again, like if I was talking to a high school group, one of the first things I'd focus on is deferred gratification, and then I'd focus on the components of wealth creation. Time can be your biggest benefit because compounding growth, I think people are shocked because when you say start young, I'm talking about anybody under 40 years of age. What people don't realize is that when you're talking about getting that first $1 million, as long as you started before you were 40 years of age of saving something, 77 to 95% of your account value at retirement is actually going to come from the growth, not your actual contributions. But that never happens if you don't put those initial contributions in. So, Bo, we actually created a case study of 3 different people, and Daniel got kind of creative with how he wanted to name these, but we did. We wanted to model the behavior so you can see the benefit here of somebody who said, "Okay, I'll stick my big toe in and I'll try this for a few years and pull out," and then somebody else who started very disciplined, like. Walk them through this case study.
Yeah, so we know how much we love Roth IRAs, right? We talk about it all the time on the show. So we said, let's just look at 3 savers who get this idea they're going to max out their Roth. And right now, you can put $6,000 into a Roth IRA if you're under 50. And let's just say that they can earn 8% annually, right? So we'd say same savings, same type of investment opportunity. Well, our first investor, this is Brogan. Brogan decides, I'm going to save from 20 to 29 and then I stop, right? I'm not going to say, I don't want to save for my whole career. I'm just going to save for the early parts. I just got out of college. I can live off of a little bit. I'm going to say, but when I get to 30, buddy, then I'm living. Then I'm going to do it my way. That's what a Brogan would do. Hogan says, man, I work so hard. I gotta reward myself. In my 20s, I'm not saving a dime. I'm going to live large. I'm going to do it up big. But you know what? When I get to 30, I am going to start saving. I'm going to get serious about it. I'm going to save. And by the way, I'm going to do better than my buddy Brogan, who only did it for 9 years. I'm going to save from 30 all the way until I retire at 64. So we got Brogan, we got Hogan. Well, then we got Logan. This is the third guy, and he's sort of a brainiac. He says, you know what, guys? I'm not going to do either one of those. I'm going to start saving at 20, and I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to start saving from the time I'm 20 all the way until I get to 64.
So
I'm going to kind of combine.
Logan's the financial mutant.
Logan,
of the group.
He's the one with a tie on, right? So you got to figure he's the one who's putting things together. So when you look at it, Brogan, over his saving career, has saved about $60,000. Hogan, over his savings career, has saved about $210,000. And then when you look at Logan, his total savings is about $270,000. So Brogan didn't save a whole lot. Hogan saved pretty good, and Logan saved just a little bit more than Hogan, right? We all tracking here? All right, so let's look at our results. When they get to 65, when they get to retirement, Brogan has about $1.3 million.
Whoa.
That's fantastic. Hogan has still done fine, but he only has over $1 million.
Bo, you have to pause there. Hang on, because I don't want us to get to the final result. We know that the financial mutant who saves from 20 to 64 is obviously going to do great because you're consistent, paying yourself first, deferred gratification, just encapsulated completely. But we need to focus on, because I think this is a perfect illustration to show the power of starting early, and a little can go a long way, because Brogan only saved for 9 years, only had $60,000 invested, but yet his account was worth almost $1.3 million. That means a little did a lot of heavy lifting. Hogan saved, I mean, look at this. This is like 3.5 times as much invested as Brogan, $60,000 versus $210,000. Yet the Roth balance is actually worth like $250,000 less at $1,033,000 versus the 1.3 that Brogan has. Guys, get to work on saving. And a lot of you, maybe you're watching this and you're not in your 20s. Maybe you're in your 30s or even 40s. It's not like your money stops working at 65. That's right. You're going to stay invested, and your life expectancy is going to be close to 80 years of age. So more than likely, as long as you're under 50 years of age, you have dollars that can get that 88 times growth in the long term. So if you didn't start investing 10 years ago, if you didn't start investing 5 years ago, there's no better time to start investing than right here, right now, today.
So now let's look at Logan. You've already alluded, this guy probably did best, and you're right, he did. He saved just a little bit more than Hogan, right? And really just a little bit longer of a time period, but just stay consistent. He saved $270,000 over his working career, and his ending portfolio value is $2.3 million, all because he started early and he stayed consistent. The sooner that you figure this out, the sooner you recognize, man, if I can just sacrifice a little bit of today for some consumption in the future tomorrow, you are going to set yourself up to be in an amazing, amazing, amazing place financially. But you got to figure it out as soon as possible.